Hi everybody, it's me. I had a request to make a video about my kids, so I'm going to go ahead and do that now. As you all know, I have 4 kids. And I'll just start at the beginning. With my first one, I had her when I was 27 years old, which makes me 37 years old now. And she had a regular pregnancy. I had gestational diabetes, and the doctor was mean to me. When I found out I had the diabetes, he said, "Well, you put your foot into it now." And he practically yelled at me, and I would have to get undressed to do certain things, and he would just leave the door open, so I would have to get up and change like that, and it was just really rude. And because I'm a larger lady, when it came time to have birth, he wasn't very friendly, and yeah, it was just a bad situation. But she was born at 6:41 a.m. and with her birth, everything went fine. She was a little jaundiced when she was born, but they let her go, and the tests that she took a couple days later were fine. So then my next one, I had a boy. I had him 18 months later after I had her. So exactly 9 months after I had her, I was pregnant. So he was born in the summertime, and he actually was born 10 days before his birth. My mom had passed away, so she never met him, and that was a really hard time for me. But I had a baby boy, and everything went well with him. He was 10 pounds. So first I had one that was 9 pounds, and then I had a 10-pounder. And everything went well with him. He had jaundice, but a little bit, not as bad. And everything went fine with him. And then I had gotten pregnant with my third one, and because I was already large at that time, they couldn't tell me what it was. So I had no idea what I had. So when he came, when I was in the hospital with him, I had asked to be induced. So they induced me, and when it came time to push, I was pushing, but his heart rate, it was a boy, his heart rate was lessening. So they had to rush me to C-section. So they did that, and they found out that the cord was wrapped around his neck, causing him to not breathe properly. So he came home, and when I took him to get testing for jaundice, he turned out very jaundiced. He was very yellow. He was very lethargic, wanted to sleep, not wanted to eat, and I had to basically wake up every 2 hours and feed him and get him to eat and all that. But they also had a nurse that came out and would weigh him every day and test him and tell me the results the day after. And he had lights on his body constantly for about 2 weeks. But everything with him turned out fine. My C-section went well. My recovery went well. And he was actually 18 months. So all 3 of my first babies were all 18 months apart. 9 months I got pregnant. 18 months I had a baby. And the same, so on and so forth. So, and then we get to my last one, my little girl. I was very big when I got pregnant with her. They never weighed me because the scale didn't pick up how much I weighed. So yeah, it was hard for me with that pregnancy being so big because I couldn't get on the table. I had to have help getting on the table. I had to have help doing a lot of things. Oh, I forgot. My third one, his weight was 11 pounds. So I had a 9 pound, a 10 pound, and an 11 pound baby. And that is why I had a C-section with him, is because he was 11 pounds. And also because of the cord. So Okay, so now we're up to date. So with her, I had her in January. So in about October, I think I was about 4 or 5 months pregnant, I started feeling pressure, and it was hard to do a lot of things. At around December, I had to stop going places. I really couldn't drive anymore, and it was horrible. So I stopped doing a lot of things. We didn't go trick-or-treating and all that stuff. So yeah. So then it was time to have her. I had my water broke at home, and everything went fine. My kid's dad did not go to the hospital with me with that birth because he stayed with the other 3 kids, and he would take them to school and pick them up and all that stuff. So here I am now in the hospital. I have my niece with me, and she was, oh, sorry. Sorry, I have the phone in my hand and it fell. So she was in the hospital, and with her contractions and everything, I said I wanted the epidural. They gave me the epidural, and it didn't work. I still felt a lot of pain, and it was hard. And it was so bad that I was shaky laying in that bed, and they were giving me Pitocin, and that worked too well. My contractions, I had like one that was, I want to say 2 to 3 minutes at a time, and that was happening a lot. My body was just working overtime and all that. And even before then, they had me fill out the paperwork about the risk of having a repeat C-section. So I was filling those out, and they were telling me all those, and I was like, well, nothing like that is going to happen to me. It's just, how things happen and all that. So I signed the papers and everything, and I'm laying there in labor, and the epidural isn't working, and all the other drugs for pain they gave me didn't work. So I was like, I just want the baby out. So I told them, just give me the C-section. I don't care at this time. I'm done. So they said, okay. They took me an hour later because they already just got done with one. And they took me in the room. They transported me, gave me the better epidural. I laid down. They strapped my arms. And here comes my niece, and they do the C-section, and I hear the cry, and they tell me it's a little girl, and I was crying because I really wanted a little girl. And once again, I couldn't, I didn't know what I was having because I was so big. I tried to do the 3D ultrasound, and I couldn't do that one. So that happened. So I ended up, seeing her, kissing her, and then they took her away to clean her up and everything. So after that, then things got crazy. I wanted to get up, and they wouldn't let me. They just kept on saying they were working on me. And my niece, they asked her to leave the room. They took the baby. So here I am laying down, strapped. My arms are strapped. I can't move. And at that time, it must have been like 30 minutes later. And I'm going, oh my God, I need to get up. And they're telling me not to move and all of this. And they're not explaining things. And they're just moving around. And so here comes the anesthesiologist, comes and gives me something. And next thing I know, I wake up and it's the next morning. I had no idea what was going on, no idea what happened. At that time, I only seen the baby when I gave birth. So I wake up, and here comes the doctor, and he said that he saved my life. And I'm like, what happened? And he told me that she was 12 pounds. She was a 12-pound baby. And when they took her out, my uterus did not contract to get small. So without warning, they took out my uterus. So as of now, I'm learning that I have a 12-pound baby. I had life-saving surgery, and you know, I can't have any more kids. So I had to deal with that reality. So, you know, my niece comes and she tells me about this story, how I kept on losing blood, and they gave me, at the time, 8 blood transfusions. So they did that, and to make that long story short, I was in the hospital for 5 days, and I didn't see her till she was 3 days old, and as soon as that happened, my body started getting better, and everything went well. I was able to come home and care for my baby and all of that, and then my incision ended up getting infected, and I had to go and have directions on how to take care of all of that. So I did that, and as of now, I've got a 10-year-old, I have an 8-year-old, I have a 7-year-old, and I have a 3-year-old. She just turned 3. Everything is healthy. She had no jaundice. She's a very wonderful little girl, and as far as me mentally not having any more kids, I wanted to have at least 6. I love kids and babies and all that, but that's not in the pictures for me, so I'm just trying to live life and say, hey, you know, life isn't bad with 4. I'm grateful for what I have. I'm glad I have 2 and 2. And I'm enjoying every minute of it. I wouldn't change it for anything. And yeah, so that's my story about how about my 4 births of my kids. Obviously I'm on my phone, so I cannot go ahead and show you guys slides and all that of pictures of my kids. But yeah, there you go. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, any comments, anything, leave them below. I love to read them. I try to comment as quick as I can. So there you go, everybody. I hope you have a good day. Bye.